Welcome back to all of our wonderful parents and caregivers. It's another episode of Grounded with Shannon, and I'm really excited about today's episode that we're going to be looking at. It's a topic that affects absolutely everyone, all parents and caregivers and adults themselves, and it's the topic of anxiety. So, if you are a parent or a caregiver, you would have definitely experienced when your child is feeling anxious. It happens to everybody. And often we get a sense of what's going on wrong with our child or what's going on with them, but we don't quite have an understanding of what's happening inside of them internally. So if you've ever experienced tummy aches before school, meltdowns before bedtime, or just sudden changes in behavior and a sense of just general fear, you know that your child is going through something that is causing them anxiety. And it really is important to understand what's going on the inside of them. And also to know that you're definitely not alone in this. So, this episode, we're going to unpack what really triggers anxiety in children and how we can support those and, those moments when they're really, really tough and they just need us. And why the right calming routines paired with gentle, natural support can make such a powerful difference in their lives. So, let's take a look at what really triggers anxiety in children. So we'll start with a question that I get asked all the time. Where does this anxiety actually come from? And the first thing I really want parents to know and understand is that anxiety is actually not a bad thing. It's your body's natural response and a normal way that our body behaves in order to keep us safe. So yes, there's a lot going on in our brains when we are experiencing anxiety, when our children are experiencing anxiety. There's a little part of the brain called the watchdog that obviously gets very alert and almost perceives a lot of things as a potential threat. This part of the brain is particularly active, which obviously sends us into a state of fight or flight. But it's important to understand that it's a normal process and anxiety is a normal part of life. So some of the common triggers that we see when children really are experiencing these moments of anxiety is a change in routine. So it could be a new teacher, moving house, a new baby that's been added to the family, social pressures, particularly on the playground or with friendships. We're seeing a lot of this at the moment. Performance expectations. So really going to school and having these expectations that they need to do well no matter what, at any cost. What we're also seeing is that obviously perfectionism comes into play, where it's internal pressure. It's not necessarily external pressure, but the child genuinely believes that they need to be getting everything right. And if they don't get it right, there's going to be an element of punishment. And then overstimulation, screen time, loud environments, particularly if your child is sensory, then what you're going to see is that they are going to get anxious more often, or they're going to become a little bit more hypervigilant more often. And there's also something called emotional absorption, which I think a lot of adults know about, but children tend to feel it a lot more. And that's often when children pick up on our stress as adults. And it is something that we do need to be aware of on an ongoing basis. If we are stressed, as moms, as dad, as caregivers, our nervous systems are so closely linked to our children's nervous systems. So they pick up on that stress that we are experiencing in our nervous system. An anxious child is definitely not trying to be difficult. They are trying to communicate something that's too big for their body to hold on to. So how do we support them in these moments? And when a child does feel anxious, it can feel all-consuming. It can feel very big and overwhelming. And sometimes what we see is that children don't have the words to actually explain what they're feeling and what's going on inside of their body. And this is where it's important for us to come in and hold the space for them so that they know that they have the power to overcome it. But we there as a parent, as a caregiver, to almost co-regulate with them. So what this really means is in terms of co-regulation, that you bring your calm to the situation. You bring your nervous system that's in a calm space, and you provide them with the safety in order for them to feel that things are going to be okay and that they can actually get through this moment, and that it's not the worst moment or absolute impending doom. It's a response to something in their external environment. So let's have a look at 3 practical steps we can start doing immediately when our child is experiencing this anxiety. So there's a process that I often use, and it's called name it to tame it. And it's really where we gently help our child name what they're feeling. So you don't need to go directly to the question, what are you feeling? What emotion is it? You can say something like, it looks like your tummy's hurting at the moment. I think, are you worried about something? Are you feeling tense about something? Is something not making sense to you? In this way, you're almost encouraging them to open up to you a little bit. And what happens when we name emotions, it actually reduces the fear response to these emotions. An important part of naming the emotions is to approach with calmness, and then also just allow some space for children to come up with what they're actually feeling, to almost work out what they're feeling and accept the feeling that they're feeling. The second thing is always to connect before we correct. So before trying to fix it, which we often want to fix it, take it away, rationalize the fear, the key is to really pause and connect with our children. And this is where we need to use eye contact, a very soft tone in our voice. And often we need to get close to our children so that they know that there's felt safety between us and them. So connect with them and almost guide them through safety, but not necessarily by saying anything. You can hold their hand, you can just say to them, I'm here. When you're ready to talk, I'm right here with you. And then another one is really important is body before brain. So remember, an anxious brain can't think logically. In the moment when they are stressed, having a sense of panic, having a moment of anxiety, the brain can't think logically. So we do need to be aware of that. We need to go into the body first. Once we are able to calm the body, the brain is then able to come back online and go, actually, this is okay, I can deal with it. So deep belly breaths, counting in for 4, holding for 4, and then releasing for 4. Another really good way is a splash of cold water on the child's face, but in a fun way. Let's run to the bathroom quickly. Let's quickly put some water on our faces. Oh, I think I need some water too, from a parent perspective. Squeezing a fluffy toy, touching a sensory toy as well, or teaching a teddy how to do the breathing techniques and the breath work. So these really help reset the nervous system in a moment of anxiety, and they really do support your little person in thinking to themselves, okay, I can work through this and I can do it with mom or dad or whoever's with me who has a calm nervous system. And most importantly, don't try to talk them out of the anxiety in a way that you're trying to communicate that anxiety is bad and we need to change it immediately. Quite a powerful way to actually start co-regulation is by accepting what you're feeling and not necessarily why you're feeling it, but where you're feeling it in the body. And then you can start breathing into that. So together with obviously doing the co-regulation, some calming routines tend to work as well. So something that's predictable, something that's calming, a space that's light and, not necessarily fun, but just soothing to be in. Find things where you can see that your child finds calm in these moments, and set these routines up on a regular basis. Because what they do is they regulate the cortisol, which is the stress hormone in their bodies. Predictability and safety is very, very important. And obviously, sleep quality is essential for a healthy nervous system. So when it comes to nighttime routine, jump into bed, do a story, make sure that they're warm, make sure that they've got their favorite duty friend, a cozy blanket to wear, and maybe it's story time, a back tickle, and then to sleep. That's an example of a calming routine that can be done regularly with your children. And once the nervous system gets used to doing this calming routine before bed, it becomes a little bit more of a habit as well. So some other rituals that you might want to look at is a warm bath, obviously, and calming music before bed, which works really, really well too. Journaling or drawing together. So writing down our feelings, drawing pictures of what we're experiencing. And remember that bedtime particularly is a time when our nervous system is quite heightened. So the more consistency we have at bedtime, the better. Breathing and visualization exercises as a family support everybody to wind down. And remember that these rituals train a child's nervous system to return to regulation more easily over time. So the more and more you do it, the more habit you make of it, the easier you will see your child in regulating. And then obviously support when it comes to finding the right medication, the right areas that you can look at for additional support. And this is where I really want to introduce to you a gentle type of support, which is very much holistic, and it's the chill out gummies. So it provides natural transition and relaxation time. So we find that before bedtime, this can be quite a stressful time for adults and caregivers to put their kids to sleep. And we want to make sure that we start encouraging it to be more calm. So I personally love the chill out gummies. These are designed specifically to support our children's nervous system and using natural ingredients. I'm all about natural ingredients. So valerian, which is known to promote relaxation and sleep quality. And it's easy to take because they taste so good. It also consists of chamomile. It helps soothe the body and reduce emotional tension. And lemon balm as well, which is a very powerful herb for reducing stress and supporting mood. So when you're doing this nighttime routine, reading a story to them, singing them a little song, tickling their back, what I encourage is to actually just give them a gummy to chew on while you're reading the story, and you'll see that immediately they'll start to almost fall into a calming space. And by encouraging healthy sleep patterns, creating calm when they're getting into their beds, and with the support of this natural support, you should start seeing some significant changes in the nighttime routine. Remember, you want to make it a gentle, safe space towards going to sleep so that you have a very restful night. And pairing this with the gummies and the calming routines together, you will see that the body will have a relaxed sleep and really support your child's development and growth, and as well as your peace of mind too. So to wrap up, anxiety in kids is more common than we think, and it's actually very natural. But you have the power to co-regulate and lead them through it as parents and caregivers. Calming routines and gentle tools like chill out gummies can make a real difference in the lives of our children and for yourself as adults. We are not alone on this journey as parents, and every child experiences dysregulation. So with the support of regulation and connection, we can really connect with our children, and get them to become a lot more resilient, because they're going to need resilience for the rest of their lives. So thank you again, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.